Hello everyone. How are you? And I'm so happy to see you in our lesson too. If you haven't seen the previous lesson, please go into the playlist and watch the previous one. And today we're talking about the overview of the legal system. What exactly are you going to learn today? How to understand and describe the English legal system clearly, 12 key vocabulary words with phonetics, some grammar, present simple for legal facts, there are, how to describe courts, roles and legal processes confidently in English. And на правах реклами ви можете знайти цей воркшіт і набагато більше корисних матеріалів у нашому телеграм-каналі та інших соцмережах The13 Stance. Ну і також ви можете відсканувати QR-код, який перед вами на екрані, і перейти в телеграм-канал. So, let's go for some core vocabulary. Common law. That's a legal system based on court decisions and precedent, not only statutes. England and Wales operate under a common law system. Civil law. That's a legal system based on written codes, also disputes between private parties. Most EU countries, including Ukraine, have civil law systems. Jurisdiction. The official power of a court to hear cases, also the territory where law applies. The contract specifies English court's jurisdiction. Court. A place where legal cases are heard and decided by a judge. The case was heard in the High Court. Judge. An official who decides the outcome of a legal case. The judge ruled in favor of the claimant. Claimant. The party who brings a case to court. Plaintiff in the US English. The claimant argued that the contract had been breached. Defendant. The party against whom a case is brought. The defendant denied all liability. Litigation. The process of taking a legal dispute to court. Litigation is expensive. Most parties prefer to settle. Statute. A written law passed by Parliament. The Employment Rights Act is a key statute. Precedent. Precedent. A court decision that must be followed in future similar cases. The Supreme Court set a new precedent on data privacy. Appeal. A request to higher court to review a lower court decision. The defendants lodged an appeal against the judgment. Remedy. The legal solution available to a party who has suffered a legal wrong. Most common remedy is contract law is damages. In contract law is damages. So a little pro tip, please do not confuse claimant, English law, and plaintiff in the US law. They mean the same thing, but they belong to different legal systems. So when you read English law contracts or documents, you always use claimant. Let's go for grammar. Present simple for legal facts. There are. We use present simple to describe how legal systems work. Permanent facts, they are not temporary situations. England and Wales have a common law system. Permanent. The Supreme Court hears cases of general public importance. Permanent. A claimant brings a case, a defendant responds to it. Permanent. Judges interpret statutes and follow precedent. Permanent. There are for describing legal structures. Singular. There is. There is a Supreme Court at the top of the hierarchy. Plural, there are. There are three main types of courts in England and Wales. Negative, there is no jury in most civil cases. And the question, is there a right of appeal? And the English court hierarchy for you. Supreme Court, final appeals, points of law of public importance. Courts of appeal, appeals from lower courts, civil and criminal divisions. High Court, complex civil cases, judicial review. Crown Court, serial criminal cases, jury trials. County Court, civil disputes below the High Court threshold. Magistrates Court, minor criminal offenses, some civil matters. And here is a model paragraph. Let's read and analyze. The English legal system is a common law system. This means that court decisions create law as well as statutes. There are several levels of court, and each court must follow the decisions of courts above it in the hierarchy. This principle is called binding precedent. There is no equivalent in most civil law systems, including Ukraine's, where law is based primarily on written codes. A claimant who loses in the High Court has the right to appeal to the Court of Appeal. Could you please notice, we use present simple throughout because we have permanent facts. There is and there are for describing the structure and key vocabulary used in natural context. By the way, if you ever want to translate the English sentence into Ukrainian with there is, there are, you will translate it from the end. For example, there is no equivalent in most civil law systems, including Ukraine's, where law is based primarily on written codes. So you will translate it from the very end. Okay? Watch out for some common mistakes. There is courts in England. There are. Courts is plural, so there are. The plaintiff lost the case. The claimant lost the case, since we're talking about English law. The judge decided a precedent. The judge set a precedent, not decided. The claimant is bringing a case. The claimant brings the case. That's a general fact, not something that happens only right now and never in other cases. And a little quick check. Pause the video. Take a second. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to do it, to pause the video and complete it. You need to fill the gaps with is or are, and we will check it. Here are your 20 seconds. And your 20 seconds are up. So there is a Supreme Court. There are two parties. There is no jury. There are significant differences, and there is a right of appeal, right? And some speaking challenge. Could you describe the Ukrainian legal system in 5-6 sentences using today's vocabulary? Use there is, there are at least 3 times, and then compare one difference with the English system. And a little common question. What is the biggest difference between Ukrainian and English legal systems in your opinion? And could you use at least 3 words from today's vocabulary and write it down in the comments? And when it comes to the workbook, I am not showing it to you. I am not showing it to you. You will have to go into our Telegram and get it in there. The shooting stance or scan the QR code. Okay, you guys? Well, and I was so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming in here. Thank you so much for joining our lesson. And I suppose I really hope to see you next time. See ya. Bye-bye.